Hi, I'm Leslie Lowe. Welcome to Leslie's Lowedown on Life.
We're talking today about how life can change on a dime and just in a heartbeat. So today I've got with us Ken Hopkins. You know him from Dave, Ken, and Molly, the trio there, and his beautiful wife, Trish Hopkins. The other side, the better half. Is that the better half?
Finally, my better half. People can see and hear my better half. Finally.
Oh, you guys have been married for what, 39 years?
39.
And counting,
And
yes.
counting. I'm going to start with you, Ken, and say, take us back to July 13th, 2015.
Wow.
How did that day start?
That was a Monday. I remember that day pretty well. It was a really warm day. And I had a regular day at work. And I remember coming home, sitting at my desk, and I was listening to music, and I can still remember the song I won't talk about the song, but I was obsessed with the song, and I'm listening, and I remember texting my nephew in Boise, Idaho, about something, I don't know what. And I was obsessed with riding bike. I usually run or ride bikes, find something to get in shape. And Trish had come home and was making dinner, and I was thinking, I can get my bike ride in, real quick bike ride, and I'll be home. And she said, oh, come on, the dinner's ready. And I said, I'm going to jump on my bike real quick, do my little ride. And I did my entire ride. I can remember it all, except my final little swoop into our neighborhood, oddly enough, was where I apparently hit a curb, and I don't remember much after that.
And all of our kids were at home. Our oldest daughter was finishing her college. Dylan was a sophomore in high school, and our middle son was in college.
Yeah, and graduated.
So, when you make dinner as a mom, you're like, okay, it's ready. Everybody sit at the table. But he was giving me it'll just be a bit. And I remember it was like, okay, this is a longer bike ride than he told me. And, I had done the dishes. I was back in my bedroom. And my daughter knocked and said, there's neighbors at the door. And I could just tell by my daughter's look on her face, that it wasn't good. And that he was right at the entrance of our housing development. And the neighbor came and got me and took me to him. And the whole neighborhood was out. But immediately the paramedic said to me, this isn't good. I just want you to know that it's a bad situation, and he can't, feel anything. And Kendall was talking to me.
I don't remember much of that.
And, from that point, I just knew that I knew he was going to be paralyzed, that he wasn't going to be able to walk again. I mean, when I see him in my mind, it's like I can still see him standing at the door waving to me with his son behind him at the front door when he left, which I would say maybe that was a little bit of an odd moment, because that is still clear in my mind. Maybe it's the thing that happens before something traumatic happens. I don't know if other people have that.
It is odd how that time. I remember, the first thing I remember was, apparently I was in the ambulance and Trish was whispering in my ear, and I just felt, I wasn't in pain. I just felt like I was so deep inside some dark little place in my head. It was where I was. Couldn't feel anything. I could tell that I remember raising my hands in the ambulance and saying, in my head, I was saying, I think I'm going to be okay. But Trish just whispered, "You've been in an accident. We're on our way to the hospital." And I could just hear
You
her
hear that.
voice, and that's what I hung on to. But I remember rolling down there or going to the hospital, and I remember inside just thinking, I don't know if I'm gonna walk again. I just had that. It just felt like any can you feel this? Can you feel this? And I knew in my head, man, I want to feel a poke, but I couldn't feel anything. I didn't know what was happening.
And it was just really kind of a freak accident, wasn't it?
Just very
Because
freak.
you had your helmet on, you were doing all the right things, you were almost home.
I was almost home. My surgeon apparently said, I've never seen an accident or damage this bad that wasn't that a motor vehicle wasn't involved with. Huh. Basically, he's never seen just somebody fall off their
wake
bike.
up. Well, you about 2 weeks later, you said to me that when he was at the hospital, he goes, I remember putting my hand up, and he goes, if someone was too close to me, I'd put my hand up, and he did remember that. I don't think anybody hit him, but I think there was
I may
a
have been
car that
rushed.
came in close
Startled you?
off
Yeah.
that startled
Could
him.
have. It was busy, and that was something that resurfaced. And Trish was referencing when I was on my bike, the hand signals, and when I pull into my own neighborhood, usually I just pulled in. I didn't really feel the need to hand signal if there wasn't traffic, but I do distinctly remember putting my hand up, like officially, like I'm turning in, just so everybody knew. I don't know if that meant anything, but that was just something that kind of resurfaced.
Yeah, one of those things. I
Yeah.
mean, honestly, it could be one of those things where you felt a little startled or maybe rushed or needed to get out of the way.
Probably
Right.
just lost your balance on the
And
bike.
could have, and there's a little median with trees and a little curb, and I hit that curb, and then
A tree.
basically the tree stopped my momentum, and that's where the back of my head hit. And thankfully, I was wearing that helmet,
Yeah.
which I still have the helmet, and just to look at it and say, I can't believe that this saved my life, probably.